Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Suzanne Knabenikog with your weekly dose of police science snippets. These snippets are bits of information that I found in academic research on police science, investigative psychology, forensic psychology, evidence-based policing, and so on, everything that's law enforcement related. And these are bits that I hope will be somehow practical and something that you can put into practice and put to use straight away, whatever your role may be as a law enforcement or related practitioner around the world. So this is obviously a global service here, and I do this kind of broadcast every Tuesday, unless I can't prepare one when I go on holiday, which happened 2 weeks ago. Apologies again about that. It's a very, very rare occurrence that I don't have one ready for when I go away. But I do this broadcast where I talk about the snippet, I read it out, and then I put it into context if I can. But also I send them out straight into your inbox every Tuesday with a link to the original research article. If you want that, that is completely possible. Just Google police science, go to police science doctor, enter your details into the form that pops up. Or if it doesn't pop up, just scroll down to any page, and at the bottom the bottom of any page on the website, and then you can leave your details in there, and you will be put on the email list. You won't be sent any crap. You'll get these snippets, and you'll get some other information that's related to police science related events and so on. And there is going to be an announcement coming up, which I won't spoil now. So for this week, the police science snippets are, first of all, it's about restorative justice behind bars. Restorative justice, where the victim and offender have a supervised meeting, is still underused despite evidence supporting its ability to reduce reoffending and improve the victim's well-being. Incarcerated offenders' motivations to participate are in part to seek forgiveness and to express respect to the victim. Barriers include fear of the victim's reactions and disbelief in the victim's ability to forgive. So as the snippet mentioned, there is a vast evidence base suggesting that restorative justice conferences or meetings are really helpful for both the victim and the offender, and anything that's preventing someone from reoffending is obviously of great benefit to society at large, because it puts us at lower risk of becoming victimized by that person. So this is, I think there were 4 motivators and 4 barriers. I only mentioned 2 each. So obviously the link to the original research is in the email, and whether you can access the whole article or not is unfortunately beyond my control, but you can access the whole abstract, which is the beginning large paragraph that I extracted this information from. The second snippet for this week is about depolicing traffic stops. Since early 2022, Los Angeles police were no longer to use minor infractions such as equipment violations as a pretextual reason to further investigate drivers for criminal behavior. Findings show that while the count of stops, arrests, and contraband seizures during stops decreased, the percentage of non-white civilians stopped decreased only minimally following the intervention. So that was actually the point of it. That didn't quite work out. Furthermore, research suggests that this initiative led to an increase in property crimes. So I've got a few opinions about this particular one. Depolicing traffic stops, I don't think is a good idea because, for example, we have very few serial killers in the UK, fortunately, but we did have the Yorkshire Ripper in the 70s, and he was convicted, and I think had he murdered 13 women already, or was convicted of murdering 13 women, something like that. He was actually found and arrested through a traffic stop for something, either with his tail light or his number plate. So we do need traffic stops. I mean, obviously this is a very, if you want, anecdotal example, but I've just quoted the research that says actually it decreases property crime if the police are not allowed to research someone further. Another thing to mention is that there's something called self-selection policing. And that's the idea that if you want to look that up, look at Ken Pease and Jason Roach. Pease is P-E-A-S-E. That's the whole idea that if the police come across someone who's committed a small offense or relatively minor offense, including traffic violations, actually it turns out that they're dealing with someone who is up to much larger naughty things as well. So it's removing a great investigative opportunity that we have to spot the serious criminals, because they are not smart enough in most cases to not offend at all and just keep keep their head down. They do also commit small offenses. They're coming to the attention of the police, almost saying, hi, look at me, investigate me, which is why it's called self-selection policing. So that is something we should be doing, not something we shouldn't be doing. And this whole thing about, let's try and reduce these traffic stops because somehow the racial profile is not correct. We've just seen that it hasn't actually changed that much in that. And there's another thing, and I put something on LinkedIn about that a few weeks ago. This was all in response to the death of George Floyd. Doesn't actually have anything to do with that situation, but also George Floyd did not die because of Derek Chauvin. So I talked about information that was that had come out in the form of a documentary, The Fall of Minneapolis. If you want, try and find my LinkedIn post on that. So the reason why this was introduced has nothing to do with the actual incidents. The reason that it was introduced to remove the percentage of white to non-whites, to change the percentages of white and non-white civilians, that didn't actually work, and it increased property crimes. So good evidence that, okay, we tried this, fair enough, let's now stop it, because it hasn't actually had any of the effects that they were hoping for. So as a researcher, as someone who's acting on evidence, you need to be able to change your opinion if you're presented with contrary evidence. And it's good to try ideas, but when you're finding you have looked at them carefully and in detail and they don't work, you need to be smart enough to then say, okay, we tried that, it doesn't work, let's do something else. And the third snippet for this week is about joining an organized crime group. Being male, belonging to an ethnic minority group, committing certain crimes prior to entry to the group at a younger age, committing multiple offenses without being specialized, and having a criminally involved family and or friends are risk factors for entering OCGs, or organized crime groups. Entering OCGs occurs via 4 different entry mechanisms. 1, active recruitment. 2, soliciting for membership. 3, growing into it. And 4, self-setup. Okay, so anyone who works with organized crime groups, that might be relevant to them. As I always say on these broadcasts, there's no guarantee that something will be relevant to all of you. You guys have very, very different roles in many very different places. So if you don't find anything that is of particular use to your role this week, fear not. There's a library of 183 previous PDFs with 3 snippets each on the read page on the Police Science Doctor website. That page, the read page, is password protected. Just join the Police Science Doctor email list. You'll get the password and you can access that, and you can go through all the previous snippets and see if there's anything of relevance to you. So I hope this was informative, and I'll see you again next week. And until then, I wish you a great, fantastic, and safe time. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this content useful. You can get access to each episode's transcript with key learning points, timestamps, and references if you get yourself onto my mailing list. Just go to the main website on policesciencedoctor.com, and on the bottom of each page you will find a sign-up form for notifications of new content. Just enter your first name, your preferred email address, and the type of organization you work for. You will not get any spam. This is just for me to let you know about new content and for you to get access to all the transcripts.